Hello Art 1 students. Today we are going to learn some about color theory. We're going to practice coloring using different color schemes and learning about color theory. Hopefully you've already watched a couple of the videos that I posted and you already have some knowledge about this, and now we can just test it out by coloring. So I made this little color sheet, and so we could just practice a couple of the color schemes and become familiar with them. For the top half of the front of this color sheet, and this color sheet is in your paint pack for virtual students, and brick students will get this in class. Alright, so for the top half I'm only going to use the three primary colors. So we're only going to use yellow and red and blue, and that means we're going to create all of the colors to create the color wheel and for the primary and secondary color sections. So make sure you have your worksheet, these three colors, and we're going to do this together. So let's start over here with our color wheel. And I do apologize, some of this cut off. My paper that I made this on yesterday at home was a little bit bigger than it printed off, so I think we can still see it okay. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and color in our color wheel. So all of the colors are marked for you. You just need to color them in. So we have yellow, and then over here we're going to do our blue section. Make sure you are coloring, showing, I always say color like you mean it. Color with a good amount of pressure so that the color really shows up bold and vibrant. Alright, so those are the three primary colors. You can see that they are in a triangle, so we call this the primary triad, and that's where they are placed on the color wheel. If you look, there's also an upside down triangle here. Those are the secondary colors, and that is the secondary triad. And we're going to mix these colors, so I do not want you to use the green from your colored pencil or the violet from your colored pencil pack or the orange. We're going to mix those, and I'm going to show you how. So for the green, we're going to lay down some blue, but this time we're not going to lay it down super dark. We're going to lay it down a little bit with a sort of a medium pressure, and then we're going to go over top of it with yellow. You can see that it's starting to change colors, and we can go back and forth with the blue and the yellow until we get the green that we're looking for. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that green. So you can see that that is definitely looking green, and we did not use a green colored pencil, we used yellow and blue. Alright, so for the orange, we're going to come over here and do the same thing. The orange is made by mixing red and yellow. You can see because the orange is in between the yellow and the red, so we're going to put a little layer of red down. Not too dark, so we have room to mix, and then we're going to color yellow over top. And we can go back and forth with those two colors until we are happy with the color that we have. We don't want it too red or too yellow, so we're just going to get a nice little orange there. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom. We're going to create violet. Violet is placed on the color wheel between the primary colors of red and blue. That means we are going to use the blue and the red to create the violet. So we're going to lay some blue down with a sort of normal pressure, and then we're going to go over it with the red, and we can go back and forth until we get the nice violet that we like. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the colors that are in between. These colors, these six colors, yellow, green, blue, violet, red, orange, and yellow, orange, are called the tertiary colors or the intermediate colors. So, you can use those, either word for that. And they are created by mixing the primary color and the secondary color that they sit in between. So for the yellow-green, we're going to put some yellow down. And we're going to put a little bit of blue down. Now we want this to look more yellow than the green here is, so we want this to look more yellow. So we're not going to use as much blue so that it shows as a yellow-green. And then we have blue-green. So here we will have more blue and less yellow, so we'll put the blue down, and we'll put a little bit of yellow down. so that we are looking at a blue-green. It's really simple to do. Now we've got our blue-violet, so we'll put our blue down first since it's got blue in the title there first. We'll put blue and then a little bit of red. We want this to primarily look blue. And I might go over with a little bit more blue just to make sure it looks different than my violet. And then we've got the red violet, so I'm going to put the red down and a little bit of blue so that it will look predominantly red. Alright, then we've got a red orange, so I'll put the red down first. Normal pressure, then go over it with yellow. We want this to look redder than our orange, so you sort of play around with it until you get it the value that you would like. And then we've got our yellow orange, so we put our yellow down with just a tiny bit of red so that it looks yellow orange. So those are the colors of our color wheel. You can see that if we go around the color wheel, every color is changing just slightly and no color should look exactly the same. So you're going to play around with that until you get it to look the way you want. Now in the center is brown. And brown is in the center because it is a neutral color, and it is the color that is made when you mix the three primaries together. So if I were to mix yellow and red and blue together, it would give me a brown color. Or I can also get a brown color by mixing any complement color. We'll learn about complements here shortly. Complements are two colors that sit across. So if I mix violet and yellow together, it will give me a brown. If I mix red and green together, it will also give me a brown. And that is because if I mix red and green, the green already has yellow and blue in it, and then I add red, and I am essentially mixing all three primary colors. And the brown you might have to play around with until you get it to look just like you want it. So we'll just start laying some color in here until we get a nice version of brown. So what I did is I mixed and made my violet first, and then I added some yellow on top. And it gives me a little value of brown here. All right, so now let's go over here to the primary colors, and we're just going to color those in the color that it says. Make sure you color like you mean it. Put some nice bold color down there so we can see it from a distance. Craftsmanship is key, so we want to make sure we color in the lines for this and use good craftsmanship. This is easy stuff, but this will give you a nice visualization of each of these color schemes that we're learning about as we study the color theory. So there's blue, and the red's cut off here a little bit, but we'll still have room for some red, so we're going to put some red down. Alright, so the primary colors, we don't need to mix anything for those. We need the primary colors in order to create all of the rest. So there's no mixing there, we just lay the colors down. For the secondary colors though, we have already created the secondary colors. This is just going to list them here for us. So we do need to mix these colors. I do not want you just using the straight orange for this. I want you to mix. So we are going to lay down some colored pencil, the red, and then come on with the yellow. And we're going to work those colors together until we get a nice orange. It might take a couple times of doing it. I do want you to realize with this project that you can mix and blend colors with colored pencils. A lot of people think you can't, but you can, and that's what we're learning with this. So the green, we're going to put the blue down. And some yellow on top. You can see how it's already turning a nice green color for us. And then we've got the violet, cut off here again, but we still have room to get it on there. By the way, if you have not picked up your paint kit yet and you do not have this sheet, you can always draw it out on a piece of paper using the attachment that I put on the assignment so that you can see how to do that. Alright, and you're just going to play around with that until you get a nice violet. Alright, so far we have learned how to create the color wheel. We have done our primary colors and our secondary colors, and we have made all of the top half of the section only using the 3 primary colors. Alright guys, stay tuned for the next video and I'll show you the next half of the page.